All right, we're back to do chapter 6 from the book of Job in the King James Version of the Bible. Here we go. But Job answered and said, "Oh, that my grief were thoroughly weighed and my calamity laid in the balances together." So this thoroughly weighed and my calamity part. I generally thought that this idea here is that Eliphaz's rebuke is not taking into consideration the enormity of the suffering Job is enduring. And he's crying out for a balanced perspective. Verse 3, "For now it would be heavier than the sand of the sea, therefore my words are swallowed up. For the arrows of the Almighty are within me, the poison whereof drinketh up my spirit. The terrors of God do set themselves in array against me. Doth the wild ass bray when he hath grass, or loweth the ox over his fodder? Can that which is unsavory be eaten without salt, or is there any taste in the white of an egg?" So the idea here seems to be that Job does not understand how he's supposed to stomach and eat something so disgusting and bad as his plight. "The things that my soul refused to touch are as my sorrowful meat. Oh, that I might have my request, and that God would grant me the thing that I long for, even that it would please God to destroy me, that he would let loose his hand and cut me off." So Job is illustrating that death is more desirable than the trial he is enduring. Verse 10, "Then should I yet have comfort, yea, I would harden myself in sorrow. Let him not spare, for I have not concealed the words of the Holy One." I enjoyed the Benson commentary on this, so I'm just going to read it to you. "The thoughts of my approaching death would comfort me in all my sorrows, and yield me abundantly more solace than life, with all that worldly safety and glory and happiness, for which thou hast advised me to seek unto God. Yea, I would harden myself in sorrow. I would bear up with more courage and patience under all my torments, with the hopes of death and blessedness after death. Let him not spare, let him use all severity against me, so far as to cut me off and not suffer me to live any longer. For I have not concealed the words of the Holy One, that is, of God, who is frequently called the Holy One in Scripture, and is so in a most eminent and peculiar sense. The meaning is, as I have myself steadfastly believed the words or truths of God, and not willfully and wickedly departed from them, so I have endeavored to teach and recommend them to others, and have not been ashamed nor afraid boldly to confess and preach the true religion in the midst of the heathen round about me. And therefore I know if God do cut me off, it will be in mercy, and I shall be a gainer by it." Verse 11, "What is my strength that I should hope? And what is mine end that I should prolong my life?" Verse 12, "Is my strength the strength of stones, or is my flesh of brass?" And what I understood that to be is that Job is a mortal of flesh and blood. He cannot endure this torment forever. "Is not my help in me? And is wisdom..." Sorry, let me repeat that again. Verse 13. "Is not my help in me? And is wisdom driven quite from me?" What Job seems to be saying is that despite his afflictions, he retains his wisdom to defend himself against allegations. He hasn't gone mad. "To him that is afflicted, pity should be showed from his friend, but he forsaketh the fear of the Almighty." This appeared confusing to me and a number of other commentators. The Benson commentary seemed to offer the most coherent take to me. If you couldn't tell, I seem to like the Benson commentary. "To him that is afflicted, to him that is melted or dissolved with afflictions, or as Dr. Waterland renders it, to one that is wasting away, pity should be showed from his friend such as thou, O Eliphaz, pretendest to be to me, should show kindness and compassion in his judgment of him, and behavior toward him, and not pass such unmerciful censures upon him as thou hast passed upon me. Nor load him with reproaches, but he forsaketh the fear of the Almighty. Thou hast no love or pity for thy friend, a plain evidence that thou art guilty of what thou didst charge me with, even of the want of the fear of God. The least which those that are at ease can do for them that are pained is to pity them, to feel a tender concern for them, and to sympathize with them. Verse 15. My brethren have dealt deceitfully as a brook, and as the stream of brooks they pass away. I didn't understand what it meant to be dealt deceitfully as a brook, so I consulted the Jameson Fawcett Brown Bible commentary. Those whom I regard as my brethren, from whom I looked for faithfulness in my adversity, have disappointed me, as the streams failing from drought, wadies of Arabia filled in the winter, but dry in the summer, which disappoint the caravans expecting to find water there. The fullness and noise of these temporary streams answer to the past large and loud professions of my friends, their dryness in summer to the failure of the friendship when needed. The Arab proverb says of a treacherous friend, I trust not in thy torrent. So these brooks, they look good, but they're not there for you when you need them. Now, I found this to be the most curious line in the whole chapter, which I don't have a resolution for, and I think we have to have a lot of resolution or meditation on this. I'm not going to really dwell on it too much today, but just kind of keep it with you. Which are blackish by reason of the ice, and wherein the snow is hid. Now, I think I've pointed out here that different commentators have different views about where the Job story is occurring. Generally, we're talking like, whatever is considered Palestine or Syria. Don't hold me to that. But which are blackish by reason of the ice, and wherein the snow is hid. I think this is potentially a geographical problem, because not that I have intimate knowledge of the area, but I do not think of it as being a place of ice and snow. So this is like a geographical difficulty. The Pulpit commentary writes this, which are blackish by reason of the ice. Job seems to have seen wadies where in the wintertime the water was actually frozen into hard black ice. This scarcely occurs now in the countries bordering on Palestine, but may have occurred in the region where Job dwelt formerly. Dark, turbid water can scarcely be intended, and wherein the snow is hid. Some suppose melted snow to be meant, but the deep wadies in the Haran and elsewhere would easily conceal snowdrifts. So I find this curious. Do with that what you will. What time they wax warm, they vanish. When it is hot, they are consumed out of their place. The paths of their way are turned aside, they go to nothing and perish. The troops of Timah looked, the companies of Sheba waited for them. They were confounded because they had hoped, they came thither and were ashamed. For now ye are nothing, ye see me casting down and are afraid. For now ye are nothing. What does that mean? So Job appears to disown his friends, telling them they are nothing to him, because they have not been there for him in his moment of need. They've jumped to the conclusion that he is deserving of his fate and may contract it as well if they help him. Verse 22. Did I say, bring unto me, or give a reward for me of your substance? Here I think Job is saying that he has not asked much from his friends, really only sympathy. Again, he follows this theme up again. In 23, or deliver me from the enemy's hand, redeem me from the hand of the mighty. Again, Job has not asked much of his friends, except for pity. He's not asking them to fight his battles for him. Verse 24, teach me, and I will hold my tongue, and cause me to understand wherein I have erred. 25, how forcible are right words, but what doth your arguing reprove? I think Job is saying here that if the words are right, he welcomes the rebuke. But because they are in error, the arguing does nothing. Verse 26, Do ye imagine to reprove words in the speeches of one that is desperate, which are as wind? I thought that was an interesting phrasing. Here the idea seems to be that tangling with Job's words and his condition is absurd, right? It's kind of like arguing with someone when they're hysterical. We all know that we say things in extreme conditions that we do not necessarily mean. Job appears to be arguing for charity if he inelegantly stated anything so far. Although earlier, he said he wasn't bereft of his wisdom, that he still had his mind. So it's kind of having it both ways here, maybe. I'll let you be the judge. 27, yea, ye overwhelm the fatherless, and ye dig a pit for your friend. I think he's just commenting upon what he thinks his friends are capable of now that they've turned on him. 28, now therefore be content. Look upon me, for it is evident unto you if I lie. So here I think Job implores his friends to reconsider his plight and to determine if he is lying. 29, return, I pray you. Let it not be iniquity. Yea, return again. My righteousness is in it. 30, is there iniquity in my tongue? Cannot my taste discern perverse things? Again, Job appears to be claiming that he's still a good judge of the sentiments that he has uttered, that he still has sense and largely believes he has done no wrong. All right.